Before we get into this episode, there's something that might be of interest that I wanted to tell you about. Scene and Heard, who run this podcast, have been asked by Scotland Food and Drink to undertake a strategic review of the Scotland Food and Drink Excellence Awards. Now, these Excellence Awards have been going for almost 20 years and are a huge mainstay of the food and drink sector. But it's time to ensure that they're still relevant. So if you have ever been involved in the Scotland Food and Drink Excellence Awards, or even if you've ever had an opinion about them, we would love for you, please, to complete our survey. So if you go to the On Farm Twitter, which is at @on_farm UK, and click the link in the bio, there will be a tab in there that will take you to the survey, and it should only take you a very short while to complete, but we would be enormously grateful. Good morning and welcome to On Farm. I am Anna Davis, and this morning you might be able to hear the birds cheeping because it is one of those classically beautiful autumn mornings. The sun is out, there's not a cloud in the sky, and I'm looking forward to a good day actually. I'm heading just about 20 minutes down the road from where I live, so a nice easy journey to spend some time with Angus Elder, who is an organic farmer based here near me in East Lothian, and I'm going to be talking to him all about his farming enterprise, the history behind it, his family behind it, what he does now, what his plans are for the future, and his views on organic farming, sort of past, present and future. So I'm really looking forward to having a good catch up, and it's made even better by the fact that we can be outside in this glorious weather. So I'm just about to catch up with Angus now.
Hello, I'm Angus Elder and I am 27 years old. I am an organic farmer in partnership with my dad here in North Berwick, East Lothian, and we farm vegetables and potatoes mainly, with some cereals and herbal leaves.
So where are we off to just now then?
We are off to the vegetable field. We've got, well, one of three actually. So in this field we've got kind of cabbages and leeks, a bit of kohlrabi, some celeriac, other little things.
Oh, cool. Right, so you can show me. There'll probably be some things that I don't actually recognise, so you can show me what's what.
Got maybe three fields, I would say. One with carrots and parsnips in it, and then this other one that we're going to has got beetroot, cabbage, kohlrabi, leeks.
There's some sheep here on the left. Are they yours?
Yeah, they are. We overwinter sheep. They're not our sheep.
Oh, okay.
They are on an overwintering deal. So we do the fencing and we kind of look after them and get paid on a per week per head basis.
Oh, I see. Yeah. And then how does that work then with the rest of the organic farming that you do? How do the sheep play into that?
The sheep are a big part of it, to be honest. So they kind of graze the 2-year herbal lays that we use as our fertility builders. We also kind of use them on cover crops and for weed control. My father was a big sheep man. This place was just about all in sheep when he grew up.
Oh, was it? Right.
Yeah, so he just can't get rid of the itch to have livestock.
So it keeps him happy.
It does, yeah.
Good.
But no, honestly, they've got their place, definitely. January King and Kale up there.
Oh yes.
And then you've got all your leeks, which I stay on.
Can we jump out and go and have a look?
Of course.
Is that right? Most of the people who listen to this podcast have got some kind of farming interest or knowledge, but not necessarily in a hugely in-depth way. And you're obviously farming organically here. Not everybody will have a clear understanding of what that means exactly. But if we take the leeks, for example, in front of us, how are you farming leeks differently to somebody who's farming in a conventional way?
I think the main difference between what and certainly in leeks, is the amount of fertiliser. I know the conventional guys use a lot of fertiliser on leeks, upwards of 200 kilograms of nitrogen a hectare. But yeah, obviously weed control is a huge thing for us. Leeks are not that competitive between the rows. You'll see there's a few weeds there.
Yeah. So do you have to manually take those out then?
Yeah. So we have a kind of range of weeding equipment. Having the right tool for the job is massively important. So you have to have several bits of kit at different times to be able to pull out your armoury. And hand weeding is one of them, definitely.
So it would be very wrong and probably very insulting to suggest that you plant the leeks and then just leave them to get on with it.
No,
there's a huge amount of work that goes in.
No, there's a huge amount of work that goes in. I couldn't tell you how many hours a hectare it is, but I could probably work it out. But it's very labour intensive.
Well, whatever you're doing, to the untrained eye here, they look pretty healthy. Are you quite happy with them this year?
Yeah, we are. There's little bits of rust going through them, but I think that's varietal.
Well, I suppose speaking of which, the farm here converted to organic over 20 years ago, but you're maybe old enough to remember that, but you weren't actually farming then, were you? So, but in terms of the sort of the philosophy behind organic farming, what is it exactly that got your dad interested and kind of keeps you interested and keeps you farming in this way?
I think if you speak to him, he'll be quite honest with you and say it was a business decision, quite honestly, at the time. I think he just believed that commodity prices weren't the way forward and that we were always going to be stuck at the bottom of the food chain in that sense. In terms of what drives us and me now is probably... It sounds terrible, but I enjoy hard work, quite honestly. I enjoy the whole organisation side of it in terms of... there's a lot of people on farm and logistics and all that comes into play. You can't do all that yourself. You have to have 2 or 3 good people around you to do all that. And I suppose that's what comes with organic and this type of business is you have lots of people around you. A world apart from one man in a tractor on a cereal farm, I suppose. But
yeah, that's an interesting point actually, because if you were farming the same acreage and conventionally you wouldn't need as many people, and actually I suppose I've never really thought about it in terms of, you think about farming providing employment for local people, but actually I suppose that's interesting because you've got more of a requirement for human labour than conventional farming, which is good in a situation where there are many people looking for work locally. But has it been challenging lately? Because we keep hearing about broccoli going to waste in Fife and the soft fruit guys really struggling. Have you had any challenges with labour recently?
Touch wood, we've been okay. I think that might change come Christmas time when because everybody needs extra people at Christmas. Things could get tight, but touch wood, we've been okay because we're needing labour all year round. We're seen as a kind of a good customer to the agency, so we kind of get looked after quite well in
They'll
that sense.
They'll make sure that they service your needs because you're a regular, which is totally fair enough, I suppose. Yeah. You didn't remember the conversion, so I suppose you don't, in terms of your own farming career, you don't know any different. How long have you actually been farming yourself now? I
have been home now fully for 7 years.
What is it about the principles of organic farming that keeps you doing it?
I suppose the answer there is seeing that, quite honestly, there's no drop in quality. I think there's a preconception that organic vegetables are more expensive and slightly uglier. That's absolutely not true. I think we can, certainly in terms of quality and yield, we can match in nearly every crop. Nearly every crop we can match conventional.
Gosh, yield as well?
Maybe not quite, but in terms of what you're putting in it, I believe it to be more beneficial, definitely,
what you're saying is really interesting because the organic farmers that I've spoken to in the past, I suppose, have all given me the same or a similar answer. And the first time I heard that answer, maybe wasn't the answer I was expecting. And that answer is, it's a business decision, first and foremost. It's been done based on a desire to keep financially sustainable, I suppose, and to grow financially. But then every organic farmer that I've spoken to has said that actually that might come first, but it's never the only thing. It's always followed by or supported by a pure belief in what you're actually doing. And I suppose you can't maybe talk for somebody who's converted themselves because you've always farmed this way, but do you think that was part of your dad's thinking as well, after the financial decision, that actually the whole ethos was something that he was like, yeah, actually now I'm all in as far as this is concerned too?
Definitely. The ethos changed massively. Certainly, even just in my 6 years that I've been here, we've seen so many changes in the land and the environment. Speaking to my dad, I think he actually wishes he recorded some more stuff before he was organic, almost to compare. In terms of wildlife around here, of course,
can hear the geese going over right now.
Yeah, of course, we've got no numbers for that,
no,
which I wish we did. But huge increases, definitely, in everything. Partridges, deer, rabbits, absolutely everything. Huge, big spider webs on the grass. You see them all the time. Yes, I can see them,
yeah.
In terms of wildlife and how our soils are functioning now, massively different. Our pHs have magically risen just with reducing fertiliser, I think. Although a bit of that was compost as well. I'd like to grow the vegetable side of the business. I believe we've got capability within what we're doing to, even just within this land, to increase it more. Sustainability, I mean that as in sort of more as our resilience against loss of labour and external factors than payments and that come and go. Reduce our reliance on that, really. That's kind of where I see in the next few years. On a long-term basis, and probably my lifetime, I'd like to see more of a kind of sustainable view in terms of an environmental point. We've got to the point where we're profitable, so that we need to kind of turn that into increasing wildlife habitats. We've just planted maybe 1,500 trees over in part of the farm that was round our reservoir, which wasn't being used as productive arable land. So I'm hoping that's going to be a sort of wildlife haven, and we can possibly look at some agroforestry.
So organic is obviously a fundamental word to what you do, but also from what you're saying, there's a whole amount there in terms of sustainability, resilience, regeneration. It's all kind of comes as one package, I suppose, doesn't it, really?
Regeneration, that's the key word, isn't it?
It is.
What I actually did was I found an old map of my granddad's from, that should be before my granddad. It would be early 1800s,
my goodness.
Way before him. Yeah. And it had the split sections of each field, and you'll see how we've got kind of hedgerows along there.
Yeah.
It had a different sign for hedge and a different sign for tree. So it had pretty much marked every single tree along each hedge line.
Yes.
So I've tried, I say very loosely, tried to copy it of how it was back then, essentially. Wow. So you'll see how there's like the spacings are a bit odd.
Yes. But that's you copying.
I'm trying to copy this map.
Oh, I like that idea. But I think there are a lot of people considering organic conversion now. So if somebody's out there thinking about converting, what would you say to them?
I would say, well, I don't know, I'm quite limited to vegetables and cereals and kind of arable farming as such, but I would say absolutely go for it. You will come across problems that are quite big problems, but I think certainly with weed issues we've found that it's just really a case of not making one dominant species, having such as wide a diversity as possible, and mixing things up totally can change your weed profile.
Yeah, I guess if you don't like problems of any sort, you shouldn't be any kind of farmer, should you? So if the idea that that the conversion is going to be challenging, then I suppose you have to be open to the fact that it's going to be a bit challenging, but there are plenty of people out there to help, and I suppose that's where it's really important to mention SOPA, Scottish Organic Producers Association, because they provide that amazing support for anybody considering or going through the conversion process, and they can provide advice and signposting and everything else. But then they can also they've also got access to people like you who can provide that advice from a practical point of view. Yes, we've done it, having always farmed organically, and with your dad having had 20 plus years of experience, you must still sometimes come across problems and need help from other people, surely.
Oh, absolutely. That knowledge sharing is massively important. Yeah. If you can find the right person who's doing the same thing as you.
Well, exactly. And I don't think anybody, I suppose occasionally in farming you come across people who want to play all their cards close to their chest and they don't want to share any of their advice or their secrets. But by and large, people want to help other people and give them the benefit of their experience. So I suppose that's what it's all about, isn't it? Asking the right people the right questions. What about your market? Where does that come from? We've got thousands upon thousands of leeks here. Where are they going to go?
So the majority of them will go to box schemes.
Okay, yeah.
That is the bulk of a lot of our vegetable business. Wholesalers is the other big market. Yeah, it's kind of grown arms and legs from where we were 20 years ago. It really started with cabbage, potatoes and carrots, and then it kind of got to the point where we could try a little bit of leeks, we could try a little bit of fresh cabbage, we could try a little bit of parsnips, we could it kind of it's kind of to get to the point where we are today, growing 60 acres of vegetables as such,
right? Yes,
and then maybe roughly 90 acres of potatoes.
And do you think that we spoke about the box schemes and everything? Do you think that is more challenging for you than conventional farmer? Because it might just all be going away to one place in Awana, whereas you've actually got lots of different customers to keep happy.
Yeah.
You said earlier you quite like logistics. It sounds like that's quite lucky because there must be a lot of logistics involved in what's going where, when.
Well, it's definitely more juggling, definitely per kilo or per tonne. For example, the stuff that goes away to the potatoes that go away to a packer. Well, you organise one lorry and there's 25 tonne away. Whereas here it's there's 3 nets of leeks over here. This person wants 3 nets of leeks, bag of celeriac, two bags of carrots, 3 bags of onions. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more sorting out goes on, but that's all part of the fun, and that's that's what you have the people around for. And
interesting, right? So I can see 2 tractors over the way here. Can you just talk us through what they're up to?
So the first tractor is topping out in front. I think that's carrots actually on the other side there. Yeah, we go through the kind of flail topper. And then the other tractor is a harvester, which we will be out this afternoon harvesting carrots.
Cool.
What we found is the key to keeping up with orders is to get lots of stuff in store at this time of year, November, so that when you get really busy at Christmas time and even into start of January, you've got it in store.
It's ready.
And everything happens a lot quicker.
Oh wow, look at this. This is a haven of wildlife. This is definitely a good place to stop and have a chat. Ducks, yeah.
That's the geese.
So we're standing here. This is a reservoir, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where does the water from here go?
It's primarily for irrigation, but it's become a bit of a wildlife centre.
Well, as we can see, the geese were all on it when we pulled up, and you say there are ducks in the corner, and this is where all the trees are, so we're standing right next to, gosh, how many thousand did you say?
There's 1,200.
1,200, wow, yeah.
No, I think we built this in just when we went organic, actually.
Oh, did you? For the purposes of irrigation?
Yeah, that was the main purpose. It's certainly proved its worth in recent years, definitely. We've had 2 or 3 dry summers where we've been pulling out of here just about 24/7.
Gosh, wow, so such a handy resource.
Yeah.
Now, there was another question I wanted to ask you. You're a busy guy. You said you like being busy. You've got plenty of stuff to do on the farm. You could just say to yourself, right, well, I'm happy being an organic farmer. I'm just going to put my head down and get on with it. But you didn't really think that, because you've joined the board of SOPA, the Scottish Organic Producers Association, and so you're contributing to them and their progress and their policy and everything else. What was it that motivated you to do that?
I really just wanted to have a better understanding of the whole industry and what other member producers were thinking and doing. And on the board there's some very forward-thinking, intelligent people, and that's what the people you want to surround yourself with.
So you're finding it then that we've kind of talked already about how sometimes you can benefit other people by them coming to visit and learn from you, but it sounds as though you're benefiting as well from learning from others, and that's all part of it, isn't it? Nothing stands still.
Absolutely, yeah.
I suppose for existing organic farmers, or for those considering converting to organic, what do you think SOPA delivers? Why do you think they're so essential? I mean, this is not, this is absolutely not a sales plug, but it's about helping people. People who want to convert or already organic need support, as you've identified many times. But and SOPA can deliver that. But how do you feel that they're able to do that?
I mean, I suppose the certification part of it is essential, because then it's really the reason of look at regenerative agriculture and how it's not certified at the moment. It's all a bit wishy-washy, quite honestly, at the moment.
Yes.
The organic part of it is really putting a rubber stamp on it and having a standard that everyone's met.
Yeah, which is essential, and that's what you need to be able to run your business, and it's what the ultimate customer wants as well, isn't it?
And I think there's so many great people. Debs and Joanna have been part of that you can just pick up the phone, and if you've ever got a problem you can just ask a simple question, and if they're not able to answer it, well, you can put you in touch with someone who maybe has done that before, or another member who's been through the same issues.
Like you said earlier, I suppose it's quite succinct, really. It's just that you learn from other people and other people learn from you, and it's only by coming together through events, either physical or online, or having the opportunity just to pick up the phone, that anybody can do that. So it's just a support network, I guess, which is essential. Certainly with the certification process, it's always great to have somebody to speak to, just to make sure, am I actually allowed to do this, or is that right enough? You're a young guy, you've got your whole farming career ahead of you. What are your hopes and kind of aspirations for the future of not just your farm but organic farming going forward?
I hope that organic farming can pave the way almost for a more sustainable future, really. I suppose COP26 is very topical at the moment,
sure is.
And from a farming point of view we can do so much better, and really, quite honestly, the technology's out there and we can do it. I really hope that organic farming, in a sense, not alone, but in a sense can almost save the planet, in a sense.
But I have heard it said, and this is maybe a bit controversial, but I have heard it said that organic farming, despite its many virtues, can't feed the whole planet. What's your take on that?
My take on that is that there's so many other issues involved in feeding the planet, if that's really your aim. Distribution network is probably the largest issue there, in terms of how food is moved around the world and bought and paid for. Yeah, I think our commodity system kind of speaks for itself there. We produce huge amounts of food and it's very cheap, and there's also these other environmental factors that are coming into play now, and organic farming alone may not feed the world, but as a means of moving towards a better future, it definitely has a role to play, I would say.
Excellent point to end on, I think, Angus. Perfect. Thank you.